good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. My name is Muhammad Fajar Zikrullah Darussalam, but you can call me Fajar. I was born and raised in Bekasi, but currently I live in Sarijadi. I graduated high school in SMA 6 Bekasi with a satisfactory grade point average. In high school, I joined many organizations such as Student Council, Scouts, and School Islamic Organization. I get I get so many benefits from doing the organization activities, and I having a great time. And I got so many kind and funny friends from that organization, and I learned to develop my soft skills too in organizations like teamwork, innovation, critical thinking, teamwork, and many others. In my free time, I like to do many things. First, I like to play football and table tennis. I like to play football since I was a child, since my primary school until now, but not as often as when I was a child. I get a bunch of my jersey for myself because that's how I love football. My favorite football club is Manchester City. Why I like Manchester City? Because when I was a child, when I first watched football, I watched Manchester City lift their first Premier League trophy in history, and I like the player too, like Sergio Aguero, Balotelli, David Silva, Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, and many others players. And right now, City has all the domestic trophy, even the international trophy. I hope Manchester City will always be the top of the entire club in the world. I also like to watch Timnas Indonesia play because they're the athlete representative to play in international cup like IFF, IFC, and many others. I also like the players of Indonesia too, like Boaz Solosa, Ole Romani, Bambang Pamungkas, Andik Firmansyah, Irfan Bahdim, and many others. I hope one day Timnas will begin to play in World Cup. That would be amazing to watch. And other than playing sport, I like to play games too when I have a free time. I like all genre games, but my most favorite genre is story games and FPS games. My favorite story games is Undertale and the Walking Dead series. So Undertale is an indie game where the story is about a human that fell into some kind of hole, and that hole is directed her to some evil world, and her mission is to escape from the evil world. And then the Walking Dead series is a 3D story games that brings a zombie apocalypse. And my favorite FPS games is Counter Strike Global Offensive. If you haven't played these games, I recommend you should play it. And right now I study in Polytechnic Negeri Bandung and majoring in Diplometry Informatics Engineering. Why I choose Informatics Engineering? Because I like since I was a child, I like to learn mathematics, logic, and programming. So I think this major is that suits me the most. And now I would like to describe about a biography about the famous and revolutionary people, specifically in technology section, Steve Jobs. So I will describe Steve Jobs based on Steve Jobs biography book made by Walter Isaacson and published by Simon and Schuster. So first, for the beginning, I will tell you the quality or the positive side that Steve Jobs had. First, he is a user focused visionary. He did not see what the technologies can do, but he focused on how the technologies can use and give benefits for the people. So he always tried to make a simple and intuitive product and refuse complexity of the technology. His vision is to unite the software and hardware in one integration system. And this vision has led Apple to their success. Second, he is detail oriented and have obsession with aesthetic. He has an extreme standard of perfection. Even the invisible internal component must have a beautiful design. This obsession encouraged his team to achieve a quality product that had never been made. Uh, Third, he has a fierce focus. After he came back to Apple from his previous company, NextD, he cut off immediately 70% of Apple products and only focused to four core products. His ability to say no to good ideas, only to focus to great ideas, was a vital leadership lesson. So now I will tell you the negative side that Steve Jobs had. First, he has an abrasive leadership style. He always used a verbal abusement and shame to motivate or drop his employees. He calls bozo to his employees when their work is not fulfilling his standard. This leadership style creates a toxic environment to many people. Second, he has a reality distortion field that is manipulative. His ability to convincing people to trust that something impossible to make is possible, used to manipulating or ignore the fact that not convenient, like reject the bug problem or delaying medical decisions. This created an environment where people are afraid to speak the truth. And third, he has a lack of personal empathy. This side is the most evident in his behavior, for example, to his ex-girlfriend, Kristen Brennan, and their daughter, Lisa Brennan Jobs, which he had refused to recognize. This shows that his personal priority often sacrifice his personal relationship and responsibility. And now I will tell you what's interesting about Steve Jobs. So what's interesting about him is he can create many opposite discipline into one. He brought Zen Buddhism or simplicity, calligraphy class, design and typography, and LSD experience, think outside box, into a chip business and computer. He assured that technologies must be about liberal arts, making it easy to access and beautiful. This what makes he different from the others engineers. So after I read the whole book, I can conclude that most of his personality had an impact on his revolutionary success at Apple, like his obsession with the seamless integration of design and function could push Apple to make product beyond pure innovation. Also with his obsession, Apple changed from a computer company to a design company. He insists a product must be working beautifully outside and inside. This obsession makes iconic products like Macintosh, iPod, and iPhone. His visionary and always focused personality also winning the hearts of customers, not just the market. Now I will tell you the object that is very important for my daily life as a student, and that object is my laptop. So my laptop mark is Asus, and specifically the model's name is Asus X455LF. First, I will tell you the dimension of my laptop. So my laptop has a 14-inch screen. The size is just right, not too big and not too small. The thickness is about 1.8 centimeters and the weight is around 1.5 kilograms. Because of this, it is easy to put inside my backpack and carry to campus. It is not heavy, so even if I bring it every day, it's still comfortable for me. Now I will tell you the what's material of my laptop is. So the body of my laptop is made of strong plastic with a smooth metallic finish. It looks simple but also modern. The screen is made of glass, which makes the display is clear and sharp. The keyboard is also plastic, but the key feels soft when I press them, so it's comfortable to type for a long time. The touchpad has a smooth surface, making it easy to control the cursor. Next, what's the category of my laptop is? So my laptop is not a gaming laptop or a professional high in performance laptop. It belongs to the student or daily use category. So that means is my laptop is designed for studying, doing assignments, presentations, and normal multitasking. Even though it is not very powerful, it is more than enough for me to open documents, watch videos, and use applications for learning. Now what's the shape of my laptop? So the shape of my laptop is rectangular like most of laptops in this world. So when it is closed, it looks like a thin flat box, and when I open it, the top part becomes the screen and the bottom part has the keyboard and touchpad. The corners are slightly rounded, which makes the design look simple but nice. So the surface, I will tell you the surface of my laptop. What's the thing about my surface in on the laptop? So the top cover of the laptop has a matte finish, so it does not get dirty easily with fingerprints. The screen, on the other hand, is glossy, which makes the colors look brighter. The keyboard surface has small keys that are slightly raised, and each key has white letters and numbers printed on it. The touchpad is in the middle, just below the keyboard, and has a flat, smooth surface. And now I will describe the position of each part of my laptop. So the screen is on the upper part when I open the laptop, and on the bottom part there is a keyboard, and right under the keyboard in the middle there is the touchpad. Above the screen at the top edge there is a small camera for video calls or zoom, and on the left side of the laptop there are some USB ports and the charging port. On the right side there is another USB port and an audio jack for headphones. At the bottom of the laptop there are small speakers and also rubber stamps so the laptop does not slide on the table. And last, the function of my laptop. So my the function of my laptop is of course studying. I use it to type essays, reports, and other assignments. I also use it for making PowerPoint presentations for class. It is also very useful to access the internet, to search for reference or information for my projects, and sometimes I use it for entertainment too, like watching movies, listening to music, watching YouTube videos, or playing some light games. During online classes or meetings, my laptop is also very helpful because it has a webcam and microphone. Without my laptop, it would be very difficult for me to study and finish my task. So, in my conclusion, my laptop is a rectangular lightweight device with plastic material designed for students like me. and it has a simple but useful design with each part in a clear position to support its function. It really helps me to study, to communicate, to do my daily activities, to do my entertainment as a student. And for me, my laptop is not just a tool but also an essential partner in my education. So now I will tell you the place where I was born and saw this word for the first time. It's Bekasi. So I was born and grew up in Bekasi. Where is Bekasi? Bekasi is in West Java, specifically in between Jakarta and Bogor. So the weather in Bekasi is mostly hot. Day and night it feels the same, but when it rains it gets a bit cooler. Though the river usually rise and sometimes my area gets flooded when the rain is really heavy. My area gets flooded because it has many rivers that runs around my place. So when heavy rain comes, the water from above flows down and makes Bekasi overflow. You can go to Bekasi using many ways of transportation. First, you can go by motorcycle, but the time is too long and you can't get convenient for sitting on motorcycle for many hours, but it costs a cheap money. Second, you can go by train. You can go by using Wush or local train. Using Wush, you can get to Jakarta for 30 minutes and you can continue by using LRT to go to Bekasi. But you can use local train too. But by using local train the time is longer than using Wush, and Wush and local train cost an expensive money. Third, you can go by car or using travel, and there are lot of ways to get around in Bekasi. Most of the time I use motorcycle or online rides like Gojek to visit my friends, whether they're in Bekasi or Bogor. If I'm going to Jakarta, I usually take the LRT or MRT because it's way more convenient than riding a motorcycle. Sometimes I also take Transjakarta. The main landmark I can think of Bekasi is Patriot Candrabaga Stadium. It is super popular, especially during football matches. I've gone there to watch the national team play, and sometimes I go jogging there during car-free day events. Other than landmark, I really like to go to internet cafe in Galaxy Place in Bekasi if I'm bored. The people in Bekasi are really diverse. There are Sundanese, Javanese, Betawi, and many others because around this area there is so much business opportunities, especially in Jakarta. So the people often live around Jakarta, including Bekasi. In general, they are kind, friendly, and funny, which makes living here is pretty nice. The foods here are so diverse too. I really like kerak telur. It's so good and delicious snack. It's a snack that mainly made from grated coconut, eggs, and sticky rice. The snack is smoky, crispy, and savory omelette-like dish with a slightly chewy base of sticky rice. Also, it's cheap. Depends on the age. The chicken egg you can get 20,000 rupiah, but duck egg you can get 35,000 rupiah. I also like dodol Betawi. It is so sweet and chewy, good for my health too, and it's mainly made from glutinous rice flour, coconut milk, and palm sugar. Dodol Betawi often prepared in celebration or tradition days like Idul Fitri or weddings. And last, I will tell you the place where I eager to visit to. So the place where I eager to visit is Super Nintendo World. So Super Nintendo World is an incredible interactive themed area located within Universal Studios Japan in Osaka. It's not just an amusement park area, but it's a completely immersive world that transports you straight into the bright, colorful universe of Mario, complete with iconic pipes, Goombas, and power-up blocks. So I think I imagine the people or the crowd in this area is will be an electric mix, like passionate Nintendo fans wearing temp gear, or families with their excited children, or the international tourists eager to see the digital world brought to their life. The overall atmosphere is one of sheer joy, energy, and wonder. You can imagine hearing the familiar upbeat music from Super Mario Bros. Playing everywhere, seeing giant piranha plants snapping at the edge of the pipes, and watching everyone running around trying to collect virtual coins with their power-up bands. It feels vibrant, playful, and truly escapist, making everyone feel like a kid again, ready for an adventure. To fully enjoy the outdoor exploration and queuing, the best weather for visiting Osaka would be during the spring, March to May, or autumn, September to November. These seasons offer mild, comfortable temperatures, avoiding the intense humidity of summer and the chill of winter. As for geographical features, Super Nintendo World is a part of a large entertainment complex situated in the Osaka Bay area. The surrounding landscape is a typical model of a modern Japanese metropolitan port city. It's flat, highly developed, with impressive urban infrastructure, and located near the coast, though the park itself is an entirely artificial, whimsical environment built to mimic the hilly, fantastical Mushroom Kingdom. So the main tourism spot is, of course, the park area itself, known for its groundbreaking interactivity. The most recognized landmarks inside the park are stunningly detailed. First, there is a Bowser's Castle, an imposing dark fortress that houses the park main attraction, Mario Kart Ride. Second, there's the vibrant Peach Castle, which acts as the welcoming gateway. Additionally, the countless greenware pipes, the rotating coin blocks, and the towering flagpole provide photo opportunities that are just as iconic as the rides themselves. It all serves as a massive, real-life tribute to decades of gaming history. So when it comes to food, the offerings are almost as fun as the rides. I'm eager to try the theme items like the Mushroom Kingdom Pizza Bowl and the various character themed desserts. It's all part of the immersive experience, eating something that looks like it came straight out of the game. For means of transportation, getting to the park is incredibly efficient. Thanks to Japan's world-class public transit system, the primary method is the GR train system, specifically the GR Sakurajima line. This line takes you directly to the Universal City Station, which is the entrance to the Universal Studios Japan complex. So, my journey to this park will start with an international flight from Soekarno-Hatta Airport to Kansai International Airport (KIX) near Osaka. Once I land, I will take a GR train or a reliable airport bus into central Osaka from any major hub in the city like Osaka Station or Namba. I will transfer onto the local train lines, The final and easiest leg of the journey is to take the JR Sakurajima line to Universal City Station, and from the station, it's just a short, clearly marked walk to the park gates where the adventure truly began. So this entire experience, from the journey to the interactive atmosphere, is why Super Nintendo World is at the very top of my travel bucket list. So that's it for my English speaking assignment. I'm truly sorry if there is any wrong grammar or wrong word selection in my speaking. I'm trying to get better next time. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.